I don't want to go easy on the politicians here. But having said that, there's a funny thing about politicians, which is that unlike most other people, one, what you say tends to get written down or recorded these days, either on YouTube or whatever, on a cell phone or something like that. And two, part of being a politician means taking a stand on the stuff you don't like. I would argue, I want to be delicate here because I hate politicians as much as the next guy, and I'm not trying to give him a free ride, but when I'm a hypocrite, right, it's probably because I morally condemned something, but it's pretty unlikely that the New York Times reported on that a few years ago. You know, Rob says, you know, whatever, X is bad. I'm sure I haven't actually done anything that would have violated my own principles, obviously not. But what I'm trying to say is that there's something funny about politicians is that they're public, which means that their condemnation is recorded. And second, they tend to have to take positions on what they don't like. And so if you take those two things together, it's really easy to identify hypocrisy in the modern world, because in cases in which you have individuals who are on the record as having condemned stuff. So for the definition of hypocrisy I use, and I'm willing to grant that you can have a different definition, it's condemning X and doing X. How many times are we going around the world being on the record as condemning X? So that's one thing I would say. The second thing I would say, which is a really interesting question, we've just started doing a little bit of work on this, is that, you know, it just seems like some people are more moralistic than others. Some people just like to put their boot on other people's head more than other people do. And I think California, again, I don't want to keep getting back to this coastal thing, but you know, to a large extent, this is a pretty permissive state. I mean, the fact that I can buy wine in a grocery store here is just brilliant, compared to Philadelphia, where I have to go to a state-owned liquor store, right, during their hours, paying their prices for their supply. It drives me crazy, right? So, you know, that's a case where you have this kind of legacy of a moralistic attitude towards this particular. By the way, here I am, alcohol, drugs. I'm not Mr. Drug Guy. Just the good examples. So I guess what I would say is that one of the things we don't really understand, let me put it this way, if we knew what morality was for, why people are trying to stop other people from doing stuff, then we would have better insight into the individual differences. Now, speaking of drugs, and I might as well go all the way here, sex, right? I have a paper with a couple of collaborators, Jason Whedon, that came out last year in the Proceedings of the Royal Society, in which we do go after your question. So what we show is that people who are opposed to the use of recreational drugs also tend to be the people who are opposed to sexual promiscuity. And so what we're trying to do is link individual differences very, and we have a theory about why that should be, and now we've replicated it in Japan and Belgium. If you know what morality is for, then you can try to figure out where the variance is going to be in terms of individual differences. And we're just starting to build that theory right now.